Okay, guys, I'm gonna do one more
Who have recently discovered the
Mojo
joy of life
videos.
out here. Welcome from your new neighbors.
Oh, shut up.
If somebody has her,
Top
they're
10
not
normal
safe.
looking
I'll want
videos
them
with
back now.
disturbing
Welcome to Watch
backgrounds.
Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 normal videos with disturbing backstories.
She's as nice as can be. Very personal.
Oh, I remember that.
Cousin Jenny. It's still hard to believe that the Greg we know could do something like that.
For this list, we're looking at seemingly normal videos that have an otherwise disturbing undercurrent. Which of these videos do you find the eeriest? Let us know in the comments below. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below.
Sorry, I don't
Number
want to
10,
play music.
Jimmy Savile. During his lifetime, DJ and TV personality Jimmy Savile was a British icon. And while his career was marked by numerous misconduct allegations, they were largely ignored or dismissed as rumors until his death in 2011. After his passing, however, investigations revealed that Savile was one of Britain's most prolific sex offenders, having assaulted hundreds of people, including minors, over many decades. During this otherwise normal segment on BBC's Top of the Pops, Savile can be seen groping an 18-year-old woman named Sylvia Edwards.
Did you tell anybody after it happened?
Yeah, I told a man that was next to the cameraman, and he just told me to get lost. He said, that's just Jimmy, go away.
Edwards looks to be jumping from Savile's grasp and desperately attempts to squirm away from the presenter as he addresses the camera.
Where can you go? I had all these people in front of me.
Number 9. Carmen Miranda drops to a knee. Known as the Brazilian bombshell, Carmen Miranda gained incredible fame in the 1930s as a samba dancer and actor. On August 4th, 1955, Miranda showed up to the Jimmy Durante show to film a performance with the host of the NBC variety show. The staff and cast members likely thought it was just any old workday, but Miranda was dying. After a strenuous dance, Miranda dropped to a knee and told Durante she was out of breath while holding her chest.
Wait a minute, stop the music. Stop the music.
She played it off like a pro, laughing with Durante and continuing on with the show. But Miranda died of a heart attack between 3 and 10 a.m. the following morning. As such, the episode actually only aired over 2 months after filming. Unfortunately, as revealed by the morning after's events, the famous dancer had clearly been in ill health, having been a heavy smoker, drinker, and regular user of amphetamines.
One of the greatest performers I've ever known was the little lady from Brazil, Carmen Miranda. Her last appearance was here in this show with me, and she was never...
This fall, we're hosting the comedy game show You Bet Your Life. And the best part, 100% politics free. The word politics comes from ancient Greece. I know that poly means many across sticks or blood-sucking hits. Series premiere tonight at 6 and 6:30 on the CW Central PA.
Number 8. Stranded on the Road. In 1986, NBC 7 San Diego ran a segment explaining what to do should viewers find themselves stranded on the highway.
It's better to be in the safety of your vehicle and spend the night than to try to walk and get assistance.
It was overseen by NBC's Rory Devine, who was on a ride-along with California Highway Patrol Officer Craig Allen Pyre. In the clip, Pyre warns about predators scouring the highways. Just 2 days earlier, Pyre himself had pulled over Karen Knott, murdered her, and tossed her body off a bridge. Scratches inflicted by Knott can be seen on Pyre's nose in the NBC footage. Following the segment, dozens of women called in and reported that the officer in the video had pulled them over and attempted to seduce them. Pyre was found guilty of Knott's murder and sentenced to life in prison. Number 7. Happy Birthday, Sweet Marissa. This video depicts an old man singing happy birthday to a woman named Marissa. Cute, right?
Happy birthday to you.
Well, maybe not so much. This man is Idaram, or Edward Muscari, and he was a YouTube sensation in the mid-2000s. Idaram was also a registered sex offender, having been arrested for sexual battery back in 1986. In the video's description, Idaram eerily describes Marissa as the one that got away. An old fling or something far more sinister? It's unknown, but there's no denying it's creepy. Idaram's YouTube career came to an end in 2009 after his computer was confiscated by the authorities. Idaram had failed to notify them about being a sex offender and was placed on probation, which he subsequently violated and was sentenced to prison for. Number 6. The Dating Game Killer. Serial killer Rodney Alcala was one of the most depraved murderers in American history. He maliciously toyed with his victims, sexually assaulted, and even killed some of them. There were at least 8 victims in his crimes, although some estimates place the toll as high as 130.
Between takes, you might find him skydiving or motorcycling. Please welcome Rodney Alcala.
In 1978, Alcala appeared on the game show The Dating Game and won a date with Bachelorette Cheryl Bradshaw.
Well, I like bananas, so I'll take one.
However, she ultimately declined to go on the date and referred to Alcala as creepy. Another contestant called him a very strange guy. At this point, Alcala had already murdered numerous people and would go on to kill again. He is currently serving life in California State Prison, Corcoran.
It is chilling to realize that this iconic show, celebrating love and romance, will unknowingly feature a remorseless killer.
Number 5. The Boston Marathon bomber buys milk. Security footage inside a Boston area Whole Foods shows a man dressed in black entering, buying a carton of milk, and leaving without incident. Nothing at all out of the ordinary here. He was even buying the milk for his 2-year-old niece. How sweet. Except, this man was an extremist, and his previous actions of placing pressure cooker bombs close to the finish line of the Boston Marathon had just killed 3 people and horrifically injured another 264. In fact, the time between detonation and milk buying was less than half an hour. Perpetrator Dzhokhar Tsarnaev became the target of a massive manhunt, during which his fellow perpetrator and brother Tamerlan died. Dzhokhar was found 4 days after the bombing. He is currently incarcerated at Supermax Prison ADX Florence. Number 4. The Midlothian Church murder suspect. This security footage from Creekside Church in Midlothian, Texas, shows a person in tactical gear patrolling the halls and opening various doors. Without knowing the story, this 2016 footage comes across as relatively harmless. It's a little weird seeing a lone person in full tactical gear inside an empty church, but the police search and examine buildings all the time. This person was not examining, however. They were hunting. Inside the church was fitness instructor Missy Beavers, and she was murdered, with the evidence pointing to the person in the video. Unfortunately, nothing else is known about the crime. The suspect and their motivation for killing Beavers remain a mystery. Number 3. Jeffrey Dahmer home video. When it comes to American serial killers, it doesn't get much worse or more notorious than Jeffrey Dahmer. His very name is synonymous with serial killers, having killed and dismembered 17 people from 1978 to 1991. In this home video from the early 90s, Dahmer, who had already murdered multiple people by this point, can be seen speaking to his father and nonchalantly flipping through a magazine.
Working and working and working and working.
Working next week, starting Monday. I go back to work Sunday night.
They talk about Dahmer's weight and eating out at McDonald's, and Dahmer explains that he needs to start eating at home more often.
Been surviving mostly on McDonald's. It's just so much easier just to pop into a restaurant. But
Yeah.
like I've said before, it's too expensive.
Just looks like a typical Midwestern male. Not the most notorious serial killer in American history.
I have to start eating at home more.
The eating at home comment is also made creepier by the fact that Dahmer cannibalized many of his later victims.
GNC has all the best flavors that come from fresh wellness routine over and over again.
We make a warm month gum. We make heads turn. We make a difference. Number 2, Chris Watts. By now, everyone knows Chris Watts as the subject of Netflix's American Murder, The Family Next Door.
I have no idea who gave you the right to take their life.
But those watching Denver 7 News on August 14, 2018 would have had no idea he was a killer. Denver 7 interviewed Watts about the disappearance of his pregnant wife and 2 young children.
But she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning. And Nicole called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home.
Aside from Watts' curious lack of emotion, this seems like a typical news segment about a missing person. The very next day, Watts was arrested after failing a polygraph and admitting to killing his wife Shannon.
Me too.
Looking into that, like, I know
Parents initially claimed that Shannon had ended the lives of their children and that he killed her in retaliation, but he later admitted to committing their murders as well.
I want everybody to go back wherever they're at.
The following November, Watts received 5 life sentences. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Stephen Mark McDaniel interview. In this video, viewers can pinpoint the exact moment that murderer Stephen McDaniel realized he was going to be caught. It is incredible and incredibly creepy.
Lauren was my neighbor. We're just trying to find out where she is at this point.
McDaniel lived next door to fellow law school student
I
Lauren
remember
Giddings.
this. I was in
Giddings had gone
still in high
missing,
school.
and a few days after her disappearance, her dismembered torso was found covered in plastic in a trash bin outside the building where they both lived. McDaniel was not aware of this. While interviewing McDaniel about Giddings' disappearance, the reporter mentions the recent discovery of her body. The criminal completely shuts down.
I know they've been doing a lot of, I think that's where they recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
His eyes glaze over, he loses his words, and it looks like he's about to faint.
Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
He eventually goes to sit down, and while unknowing viewers may think he's in shock, the truth is far more malicious. Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now...
Alright guys, I will see you in my third video.